Hi, I'm Ignacio Despujol, and in this Polymedia, I'm going to talk about Creative Commons licenses. The Creative Commons licenses have been created by a non-profit organization called Creative Commons that was founded in the USA in the year 2001 and is based on the idea that some people may not want to exercise all intellectual property rights, that the law allows them. So they have created licenses that allow you to assign some of those rights according to the author's preference. They also have a license that allows you to assign all the rights to the public domain as it already existed, but in a way that is explicit, and a public domain mark that allows, if you identify an old content that you know is in the public domain, you can mark it so that people who are looking for public domain content can find it more easily. Creative Commons licenses are structured around a three-layer model. There is a layer in which the license is defined completely with its legal code as a lawyer would define it with each and every item that needs to be specified. Then there is another layer which is the so-called human readable layer, which allows a normal person reading one or two paragraphs to understand what the license implies, and then a third layer which is machine readable, so that machines can easily classify the content according to type of licenses, and then it is much easier to find the content you want on the internet. How are they structured? Well, they are structured in the following way. Notice that there are four concepts: BOI, ND, SA, and NC, which are by means attribution. That means that if you're going to use a content that has a BY license, you have to say who the author is and where you got it from. ND is non-derivatives, which means that you can't modify the content, you have to use it as it is. Say is share alike, which means that you have to share it the same. That means that if you have found a content that has a license of attribution and non-derivative, you have to make your content the same, share it, as non-attribution and non-derivative. And the last SNC is non-commercial, which is already stated in the symbol you see there, which means that you cannot charge if you use this content. So with these four concepts mixed together, there are 6 licenses. Here you have them. The first attribution means that you have to say who did it. Second attribution, without derivatives, you have to say who has done it, and we cannot modify it. Third attribution, non-commercial and share alike, means that we can derive it. That is, we can make modifications, but we cannot use it for commercial use, and we have to share it just as we have taken it. Attribution share alike means that in this case, by sharing it alike, we can use it for commercial use, and we can modify it. Non-commercial attribution means that we cannot charge if we use the content, and the most restrictive is non-commercial attribution without derivatives. That means that we have to say who has made it, that we cannot charge for it, and that we cannot modify it. The licenses look something like what you see here. This is the human readable license, let's say. But what we are going to do is to go to the web. That although I have some screenshots here, I think it is best that we go to the web. This is the website of Creative Commons. Here it is, creativecommons.org, and here is the licensing section. Well, this is in English. We have over there a site where we can put it in Spanish, but anyway, we are going to enter in English and then we will change it. The same Google tells us if we want to translate it, but let's go to licenses, okay? And here we can choose a license. As you can see, the web has detected that it is in Spanish. What happens is that, as everything translated by volunteers is half translated. But here, this comes in handy, because here, when we are choosing the license, we see the following. Do we want commercial use of our work? Yes or no? Do we want to allow it to be modified? Yes or no? Do we want it to be shared in the same way? If we allow modifications, yes or no? What if we want the jurisdiction of our license to be a special country or international? The normal will be international, because we are going to, unless we have some countries where we have problems. Then we can put some additional data of the work, if it is audio, video, image, the title, and so on. That would also be incorporated into the license. And then we say, well, now imagine that we do not want to defend the commercials, and so on, and choose the license. And as you can see, we have the languages, where we have the page. Here we get a view of how it will look on the web, that we can choose a smaller or a larger model. That is, if we click here. This is the text that people will see if they click on our license in English, and here below in Spanish, because this is free. This is the text that can be chosen by humans. And then down here we have the code that we have to copy on our website to get this little logo with the link. Then with this, we would already have our content labeled with its Creative Commons license. Let's go back to the presentation. Because in the presentation we have, well, here you can see the license of recognition. The license of recommendation will be like the license of recognition without derivatives. Here is putting the text of all those that I have told you. And then I want to show you also, this is the license of declaration of public domain that allows you to transfer a content to the public domain without reserving any right. And with this I finish, and I finish giving an example and saying that I have taken the text from creativecommons.org and the images from flickr.com. See you next time.